Hey, Cindy, how are you today? Welcome to Do Zebras Have Tails? If not, how do they swat those flies? What's today's question, Cindy?
Hey, Deb. Welcome, everybody. Well, today, Deb, we're going to take a look at the heart. And we're going to wonder, how do you mend a broken heart?
Aw,
Yeah. You think we can do it? Can we mend a broken heart?
I don't know, but we can sure try. Reminds me
I
of
know.
a Bee Gees song, though.
How do you mend a broken heart?
Such
All
a
right,
nice
I'll
voice.
leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. But we really want to take a look at this today. And that's what we do here on our podcast. We take a look at questions that sometimes bother us, annoy us, stick with us, and we try to figure out the answers. And being a historian myself, a history teacher, podcaster, radio announcer, I'm always interested in the backstory, the history of all this stuff. And Deb, how about you? What are you interested mostly in?
Oh, I love science. I'm a science nerd. I'm an English college professor, and I'm a photographer, so I like it all.
Yeah, you
And a
like it
budding
all.
podcaster. This is exciting for me. Really exciting. A new career.
Yes, yes. So Deb will take a look at the science behind the broken heart. And I'm going to start with the history behind broken hearts. So we're going to take a look at three examples of broken hearts in history, and it breaks your heart to hear some of these stories, Deb. Here we go. We're going to start with this guy, okay? And I'll move over so you can see him. TR, right? Teddy Roosevelt. And Teddy, president from 1901 to 1909. He was elected in 1904, but before that, he became president suddenly, the youngest president ever at 42, because William McKinley was shot in 1901.
Oh.
So then comes Teddy. And one of the heartbreaks about Teddy's life before he is president, Deb, is that on February the 14th, Valentine's Day, 1884,
Wow,
Teddy
long time
lost.
ago.
Yeah, get this. Teddy lost on that day both his first wife, Alice, and his mom, Martha.
Oh, how heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking on the same day. And as a matter of fact, when that happened, his first wife, Alice, had just given birth 2 days before to their baby daughter that they named Alice.
Oh, wow.
So this heartbreak was so immense that Teddy decided that he needed to get away big time.
Sure.
And he said that the light had gone out of his life. And that's a direct quote
Yeah.
when he lost his mom and his first wife. So he goes west, Deb. He goes west. He becomes a cowboy, essentially. He lives the strenuous life, which he loved. He had had asthma as a child, so he always worked out, very athletic, had a gym put in the White House when he moved in. And he goes out west. Now, he comes back, and then, of course, he has this illustrious career in politics. He will be governor of New York. He will become president. As we said, McKinley gets assassinated. He's a progressive president, progressive Republican. He also is quite the imperialist, I will say that. He takes our ships and travels them around the world to show the world that we are up and coming as a power. But then, after he is president, he then runs again later on his own ticket, the Bull Moose Party. When he doesn't win, he then supports American entry into World War I. And here's where another sad part comes. He loses his youngest son, Quentin, in World War I when Quentin is flying a plane. And remember, airplanes were new then.
Yeah.
He's flying against the Germans, and he is shot down. Quentin is shot down. And Teddy never recovers from this, Deb.
Terrible.
Never recovers. Yeah. This was his youngest. He had 6 children. This was his youngest. And he felt guilt. From everything I've read, he felt such guilt that he encouraged his boys to go fight in the war that he never recovered. And a year later, after Quentin's death, he passed away in his sleep. And he had underlying conditions, for sure. He had heart issues. He did have debilitating arthritis, from what I read. He had had malaria from a trip in the Amazon. He had recovered from that, but his heart was broken. And maybe this is broken heart syndrome that we have to talk about later. Maybe this is what
Yes.
happened, but he passed away a year after his son died.
Yes.
And then we move, and Deb has a picture of a couple now we talk about with heartbreak, Prince Charles and Lady Diana. And it's really interesting to know that their backstory goes way back. She, by the way, has royal blood in her from the beginning.
Right.
All right. She has relatives from King Charles II way back in English history. They were legitimate children of King Charles II, but it comes from that line
Yes.
of children. So there was royalty on her side. When she meets Charles, he is in his late 20s, 29, and she is 16.
Oh, goodness.
And how they meet, Deb, is that he was dating her sister, Sarah.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, but Diana is smitten with him, completely smitten. He doesn't really see her other than the younger sister, but she is completely taken by him. And interestingly enough, a couple of years later, he stops seeing her sister, Sarah, and then his great uncle, Lord Mountbatten, is assassinated by the IRA.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, they run into each other after a polo match at that point, and he is so sad and so grief-stricken from the death of this great uncle that he was super close with that Diana offers an awful lot of support. She speaks to him. She says she's there for him. She's very comforting, and he starts to think of her in a different way, Deb. He starts to think of her as maybe a potential of someone he could marry. Now, back at home, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, his parents, are urging him to marry already. He's in his 30s, and enough is enough, according to them. He needs to get married, and he needs to continue the family line
Right.
and have children. So apparently, Prince Philip, his father, says to him, Charles, either you ask Diana to marry you and stop dating her already, or you end it and date someone else and marry someone else. What I read was that Prince Philip made this comment, but Charles interpreted it as, I need to marry Diana. His father gave him a choice. He said either get engaged or find someone else. But he panicked, Charles, so he asked Diana to marry him. Mind you, Deb, they only had 13 visits with each other before they got engaged.
So little. My goodness.
So little, only 13 times. Okay,
Wow.
They get married. They have very little really in common. They don't know each other at all. They're very uneasy with one another. A year later, Prince William is born. 2 years later, Harry is born, and maybe the only time in their marriage that she admitted was good was after William was born. They both reveled in the birth of William. Harry is born. The marriage is not doing well. She does have bulimia, and she had it from the beginning of their marriage. She is depressed. She is very jealous of relationships he has with an ex-girlfriend, especially Camilla Parker Bowles.
You know her.
Who is now the wife of Charles today, and he is the king, and she is the queen per se. Okay. How does this become heartbreak? It's heartbreak for the world, because when they got married, the marriage was seen all over the world with millions and millions of people watching.
Right.
And sadly, the heartbreak too when she dies. After they get divorced, 1996, 1 year later, she is killed in a car accident in 1997.
So sad.
So sad. So there's another heartbreak. And our final heartbreak, of course, that we really want to take a look at as well, is a heartbreak that leads us to someone that is quite famous that we know about, right? And I mention this person because this person has just recently gotten married, and no other than... you can see a little bit of her there. We didn't get the whole picture.
Is. And I'm a Swiftie.
There she is. There's our Taylor Swift.
And I'm a Swiftie.
Swift,
love her.
And you are a Swiftie for sure. And so Taylor Swift, I think she's the queen, right, Deb, of the heartbreak songs.
Yeah.
She says that the biggest heartbreak album of her life was the album Red. And that's why we put this up here.
Yes.
And really, you know what it was about? Jake Gyllenhaal, a 3-month relationship with him. I know. 3-month relationships with Jake. So it doesn't matter how long the relationship is, we can be heartbroken regardless, right, of time, which you'll talk to us about the science in a moment. She had had two longer relationships before him. One, of course, that really was very difficult for her to have with Joe Alwyn, to break that up after 6 years. Then she had a short one with Matt Healy and wrote that album, the Poets Department album.
Tortured
That's
Poets,
about,
yeah.
yeah. That's about tortured poets, right? About, healing and being tortured from relationships as well.
Yes.
And so we end with Taylor, because she certainly has given solace to people with these songs through heartbreak that they're experiencing themselves, right, Deb?
Yes.
Yeah,
I know that she will never, ever, 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 never, ever, 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 ever
go back with any of them. And now she's married to Travis, so we're all good.
Good for her.
So, Deb, tell us about the science. What happens when our heart is broken? Because it's really physiological, isn't it? We're really feeling something, not just in our mind, but physically, aren't we?
Well, there are two good subjects to look at. Alexander the Great, who had a relationship with another man. When the other man was killed, he died shortly thereafter of broken heart syndrome. That is the rumor. I wasn't there, and all way back then, but Debbie Reynolds, a popular actress that some of us do know, and Carrie Fisher, famous from Star Wars. When Carrie Fisher died at 60 years old, I believe, on an airplane, Debbie Reynolds, who was her mom, died just a few days later of broken heart syndrome. She really was just like devastated by the death of her daughter. And so even though she had a son, she passed away because she was so brokenhearted. So what is broken heart syndrome? A lot of us become addicted to our mates. And it's not because we willingly become addicted. It's the dopamine hormone in our system. When we have a mate, we become very enamored by the person. We like to be with them. We like to laugh, make love, go to the movies, do all the fun things that we do. And our bodies become accustomed to being with that person. And so the dopamine in our system, the hormone, gives our bodies a hit. And that hit makes us feel good. It's a feel-good feeling. And so whenever we get a text or a phone call from that special person, we get a dopamine hit. And thus the addiction begins. Our brain really begins addicting before we do. And so we are pleasurable, we're happy to see the person, and we get the hit. When we don't see the person, the cortisol hormone raises its ugly little head. And that's the stress hormone. And that hormone says, where is the person? I need my dopamine hit. So you go through the day, and when you get that little cortisol spike, you say, let me text that person and see what they're doing. And they send you a heart, and you send them a heart back, and dopamine goes, yay, and gives you a hit. And that's all really good. What happens when you break up? The dopamine keeps searching for that person. And then the serotonin hormone also joins in and says, where is that person? And so now you not only have a heartbreak syndrome, but you have a biological situation that you're not even really aware of, because you become biologically addicted to the person that you were in love with. And unfortunately, when you break up, that's the worst part. So that shakiness and that anxiety and waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning with like a panic attack, that is coming from the cortisol. The cortisol is saying, where's the person? Where's the person? I need my dopamine hit. And the person's not any longer there. So when you break up with somebody, you have two forces to fight. You have your own heart and you have your brain. And your brain is really speaking louder than your heart. Your brain is pushing you to find that person so you can get that hit that will make you feel better. Thus, all the texting, the phone calling, the begging, the pleading, the trying to get over them, all the Instagram and TikTok videos that really tell us, what is going on in our hearts and our heads. The best thing for this is no contact, is separation. Now, it sounds rather harsh. I know it does. But the no contact will eventually calm down the dopamine, calm down the cortisone, and you'll have a new path to forge. Once your brain is clean of this, you can kind of program your brain to actually love yourself. Direct all of that pain, anguish, anxiety, and whatever else you've got going on to yourself. You see a lot of people on TV eating chocolate and ice cream. That's for the dopamine and the serotonin hit. That makes you feel good. You see a lot of people in the movies taking walks through the woods. That makes you feel good. So if you have a broken heart, those are the things you want to do. I mean, don't eat the whole gallon of ice cream, but take a walk in the woods. Put those Oreos down right now.
The whole sleeve of Oreos.
Yeah. Take a walk in the woods. Drink a nice cup of tea. Spend some time with your friends. Call a friend at 10 o'clock at night if you can't sleep. Do the things that make you happy until you can forge a new path in your brain. And maybe you'll find somebody else. And maybe you won't. Maybe you'll just find yourself. And finding yourself is the best medicine ever for a broken heart.
Oh, Deb, that's so true.
Yes.
So true. And we're not dismissing what it feels like to have this broken heart. We know how hard it is to go through this. And I love that you talk so much about the self-care.
Yes.
We have to love ourselves, and sometimes it's that time when that relationship has ended to just say, what makes me happy? How do I want to live? How do I want to live my life? Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Question asked, questions answered. Right, Deb?
That's what we do.
That's what we do here. And if you guys have any questions you would like to ask and have us research them and answer them, we would love it. We jump at the opportunity to research and to banter back and forth with one another and to provide some entertainment and some information at the same time. So thank you so much for joining us today on Do Zebras Have Tails? And we hope you'll join us again, right, Deb?
We certainly do. Take care now and see you soon. Bye now.
See you soon. Bye.